Okay, guys. So we got part two here on the disassembly of this Quantasaurus Rex, and I'll share with you what I've come up with on this one. I've kind of scratched my head for a little bit and kind of thought things through. I guess we're going to go with the method of basically process of elimination. Try and lay it out so you kind of get an idea here. Basically, the QR sensor, or QR, IR sensor is located. Where did I take that loose? Right here. This is a little chip. It has a sensor on the front of it. I can't really get a real good look at that the way I've got everything mounted today. But anyways, as best I can figure, when you take your remote, you give the signal for a function. Basically down here at the main board, it turns it on, you get juice from the battery, it goes from here. You have another chip up here that basically diverts everything. From the blaster arm to the transformation to the two sets of lights, everything like that. So one thing that I had heard people say that they had assumed that the motors were locked up in these things were the reason that they wouldn't work. We know for a fact that the motor works in this arm in the blaster because it runs constantly. So I wanted to next check was the ones down here that run things. I've not got into this one, but I'm going to show you how to check this one. I take no liability for this method. What I'm going to run, I've got a 12 volt drill battery here, just something that I can bump the terminals on the leg wheels here. We have a hot and a cut, well, hot, cold, you have a negative, positive, however you want to call it. Positive to red, black to ground. So, as you can see there, we bump it. The motors aren't locked up in this thing, which is understandable. These small motors, they don't get run for long periods of time. They're very simple, very basic. So, in my experience and older toys, very rarely do these go bad. Unless they're in an environment where they are exposed to a lot of moisture. A lot of times they'll corrode and either will run slowly or will finally lock up. You don't see these going bad. So, which by that tells me this motor's working, this motor's working. But yet, I'm still not got sounds, and I still have no transformation. More than likely, I'm not going to tear the gearbox down to get in here to this motor. I'm going to bet money that this one works as well. Which leads me to the conclusion on this one. The other two, something else. We'll get to that in a little bit. More than likely, the IR sensor. These things are fairly sensitive. You got to figure this, if I'm not mistaken, 2000 and, I won't say one. If I'm mistaken, somebody feel free to correct me on that. When I got these, they were in a couple of Tupperware containers, or Rubbermaid, not Tupperware, and they take a lot of beating. Thrashing around, this, that, and the other. They're toys. They've been played with. More than likely, as best I can figure, something in this chip or this sensor has shorted out. Basically, it's giving the signal that basically when the power cuts on, it's giving a constant signal for that blaster to run. And when one signal's running, you can't get anything else to operate. So I can't use my remote to turn on the legs, transformation, or the lights. That is the most likely cause on this one, is the fact that the sensor has shorted out or gone bad. I've done some digging online. I'm going to ask around for some people. I've not been able to find anything just like this chip. It's fairly simple as far as wiring back. If I can find another one, that would be an easy fix, if I can find what I'm looking for. The other two I've got, that's not what I'm going to lean towards. I'm looking more towards corrosion or something on those, because the remote will work all of the lights and sounds. So that tells me that the sensor in those are actually working. It's actually picking up and switching on and off the things it's supposed to. There's something inside that's not letting the motors run. For this one, for now, I will attempt to put it back together like it was, get everything hooked back up, and more than likely I'm not going to be able to find one of these. If I do, I'm going to try to replace it. We'll do a video on that. But for the most part, more than likely, I'll get this thing back together. Find the rest of the pieces for it, the rest of the missiles, tails, all that good stuff, and maybe find somebody that's looking for one for a display piece that the electronics don't work, like the majority of the ones out there. But you do have an idea now. Like I said, I'll try and point this out. If you do have problems with one, as far as if you got contacts going back bad in the battery box, you know how to get everything loose, or if you need to get to a speaker to replace it, speaker's located right here above the motor for the wheels. And like I said, most of the other stuff you're probably not going to replace unless it's broke. Maybe say like the ratcheting portion on these arms could possibly be replaced, but for the most part, like I said, just like this, that would be a easy piece to fix, but finding one is going to be, a whole lot of fun. But hopefully this gives you an idea of how everything goes together in this thing, how to take them apart if you need to change pieces. For instance, you get these that are the side pieces for the legs are sun damaged, or if you've got an arm that's broken, or you never know. You might just have one that's badly scuffed up or paint's gone. I know I did see in a lot of videos I had looked at on some of these others, the paint around the trim on these arms are bad to go bad. They flake off. So that's something that could be replaced if you needed to. More than likely, the easiest route, because as you can see on these pieces, if you need to replace one of these, you got a bunch of wires going into them. You're either going to have to unhook these down here on the board or the chip and resolder them, or basically you're going to have to cut those wires and piece them together with a connector or solder them there. This is not one of those Megazords, especially electronics wise, that is going to be a easy to replace a part kind of fix, but can be done, just not easily. Appreciate you guys. Like I said, I hope this helps somebody out in the future as far as disassembly, finding pieces, seeing what does what. But if you like it, if you like the video, if you found it useful, informative, if you like any of the other videos we've got, comment on it, give us some likes on it, subscribe to the page. Like I said, that helps me out. Going to keep trying to get some more stuff. I've got parts coming for the command center. We're going to do the part 2 on it, get it going. I've also, when I get a chance, it's turbo morpher. I've got everything but the chrome fixed on it. I'm going to go ahead and get it back together. Going to do a reassembly video on it. Lots of new stuff. Going to keep some stuff going, but appreciate it, guys.